Plus, we'll hear from manager Mike Shildt.
Ultimately, what we're here to do is win.
From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Today, the Padres take on the Cleveland Guardians in the first game of a 3-game series. Our starting pitching matchup tonight for the Guardians, right-hander Luis Ortiz, and for the Padres making his debut in the brown and gold, left-hander Kyle Hart. Hi, good everyone. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch coming up at 6:40. Coming up in the next 50 minutes as we get ready for this one, we'll hear from tonight's starting pitcher, Kyle Hart. We'll also check in with Padres manager Mike Shildt, and in just a little bit, we check in with Padres radio voice, Jesse Agler. But first, it's time to set the table. Brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971 with 3 locations, La Mesa Vista and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Well, the Padres are 4-0 to begin the season, just the second time in franchise history the Padres have started a season 4-0. The Padres started 4-0 in 1984, and of course, that team went on to win the National League pennant. The Padres have never started 5-0 in their 57-year history. They look to do that here tonight. Meanwhile, the Guardians began their season with a series win in Kansas City. They enter today 2-1. The Padres wrapped up a terrific opening weekend yesterday here in downtown San Diego. Let's take a look back.
Did you miss what happened in the last Padres game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind on the Padres Radio Network.
Yesterday, the Padres got to work in the first inning. Manny Machado had a runner on second base.
Here's the 1-0. And he swings, hits it in the air, deep to right field. Kelnick's going back. He turns around to watch. It's off the base of the wall. Tatis scores. Machado's on his way to second. Here's the throw in the tag. Not in time. RBI double off the fence for Manny. And the Padres take a 1-0 lead.
Padres still led 1-0 in the bottom of the third. It was the X-Man.
Xander Bogaerts' first pitch swinging. Lines one down the left field line. A fair ball. Going to roll to the corner. Cronenworth being waved at third base by Tim Leeper. He's on his way. No relay to the plate. An RBI double for Xander Bogaerts, and the Padre lead is 2-0.
So the Padres had early offense, but the big story of the evening, Nick Pivetta. Pivetta was brilliant in his Padres debut. He went 7 shutout innings on just 82 pitches. He allowed just 1 hit and retired the final 13 batters he faced. In the bottom half of the 7th, Jackson Merrill added on.
Here's the 2-0. Merrill swings, sends it in the air to left center field. Pretty well struck. Profar back to the gap. Not going to get there. Looks up, bangs off the wall. Fernando rounding third. He's going to come in and score. Jackson Merrill has provided some insurance. An RBI double in the 7th, and the Padres lead it 3-0.
Padres weren't done in the 8th inning. It was Brandon Lockridge.
There is Santorini, another 1-2. Lockridge hits it in the air down the right field line. That is a fair ball. Going to bounce and roll into the corner. Kelnick's got to go and get it. Bogaerts has scored. It's another RBI double as Lockridge makes it 4-0 here in the 8th.
A little bit later, Nando got in on the party.
1-1 to Tatis, lined over Riley. Got a piece of it, but it trickles behind him into left field. Lockridge has scored. Fernando going to try for 2. They throw there, and he's tagged out. Tatis signaling that he wants a challenge at second base. It is, though, an RBI hit, and the Padre lead will be 5-0.
Finally, in a 5-0 game, Jeremiah Estrada took the mound in the 9th, and the Padres broke out the brooms.
Now the 1-2. De La Cruz swings and misses. Strike 3. 98 from Estrada, who strikes out the side, and he and Adam and Pivetta combine on a 1-hit shutout as the Padre pitchers face the minimum, sweep the Braves, and start 4-0 for just the second time in franchise history.
The Padres swept the Braves in a 4-game series for the first time since May of 1979. Padres begin the year 4-0, a 4-game sweep of Atlanta. As we get ready for first pitch in Game 1 of this 3-game set against Cleveland coming up at 6:40, let's go inside the Jerry Coleman Broadcast Center.
Let's take a trip up to the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup with Jesse Agler in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
All right, Jesse, let's begin with the headline of the evening. Left-hander Kyle Hart making his Padres debut, making his return to the major leagues for the first time since 2020. Jesse, what did you learn about Kyle Hart during spring training and your level of anticipation to watch Kyle against this Guardians lineup here tonight?
I'm really excited to see him, just the same way I was with Nick Pivetta yesterday, Randy Vasquez the day before, kind of guys that, there's a little bit of an unknown surrounding them. And I think that's fun, especially that first time out. And look, you're not going to judge it too severely one way or the other. Obviously, what we saw out of Pivetta yesterday was just brilliant. But as he put it so succinctly after the game, it's just one bleeping game, I believe was his exact quote. And so, you don't want to get too high or too low with any of these things, but there is a great deal of sort of curiosity surrounding it. And Hart, of course, because of his background, which I'm sure you have and or will talk about, and, the path that he's taken to this moment makes it even more curious in a really fun way. So we'll dive into his past and his history and everything that he's been through the last couple of years, but obviously some great success in Korea last season. And now we'll see how he does here back on the major league stage, pitching in front of fans for the first time in his big league career.
Meanwhile, right-hander Luis Ortiz on the mound for Cleveland. He had a really good year with Pittsburgh last season. We'll have more on him coming up a little bit later on. Jesse, let's talk about this bullpen. 15 consecutive scoreless innings going back to opening day. Not only the results, Jesse, but what stands out to you about this bullpen group as a whole? And I suppose really the depth they have even at the very start of the year.
It's pretty impressive. And bullpens are always really kind of tricky to handicap going into the season, right? You got your sort of stellar back-end guys, and you know what to expect out of them. But oftentimes for teams, everybody else is a little bit of a question mark unless they're a truly, really established kind of guy. There's so much variance year to year in how a lot of relievers seem to perform. and everybody just picking up where they left off in the best way imaginable. And, for Adrian Morejon to continue to kind of take a big step forward, for Alec Jacob to get some opportunities at the major league level, for Wandy Peralta, who never really got his footing at any point last year in his first year in San Diego, to all sort of, put their flags in the ground, so to speak, in the first series of the season, I think is really encouraging. And look, when it comes to Adam and Estrada and Suarez, the back end, I think we pretty much knew what we were getting, but the bullpen is obviously in today's game such a critical part of any potential success that any team is going to have. And only 4 games, but so far very, very good.
Jesse, let's touch on this Cleveland Guardians lineup, because you look at the top 4, it's pretty dangerous. Steven Kwan gets on base a ton. Jose Ramirez, one of the better hitters in baseball. Lane Thomas, Carlos Santana, probably worth noting. While we mentioned Kyle Hart, Hart did start against these guys to wrap up his spring training and ran into some trouble at times against this lineup back in Arizona. Jesse, what can you tell us about this Guardians team, what they are, and specifically that top of the lineup, what they can do?
Yeah, it starts with Ramirez, right? And he's dealing with the wrist, so we'll see just how much of Jose Ramirez he is, although my anticipation is he is full Jose Ramirez. He is, look, you said it, he's one of the best hitters in baseball. He's one of the best hitters of his generation, and somewhat quietly, he is on an absolute Hall of Fame trajectory. Make no mistake about it. He's that kind of hitter for them. So that's where the conversation always begins. Juan, he's kind of Luis Arraez light, although he slugged a little bit here in the early going, at least in their first series against Kansas City. Lane Thomas can run around. Santana is a pro's pro. Seems like, he can't stay away from the Cleveland Guardians, or they can't stay away from him. And a force in the middle of that lineup still. John Kenzie Noel, after that, big, strong guy. This is a good team. They won 92 games last year. The Yankees were the only ones who won more than the Guardians in the American League in 2024. And while we've sort of talked about them, in regards to the starting pitching for the last decade or so, starting pitching was actually not great last year. They did it with an unbelievable bullpen and an offense that really seems to know how to win games and do the right kinds of things. We've seen the way the Padres have performed offensively the last couple of years. Remember, a lot of that philosophy came with Victor Rodriguez from Cleveland. So the Guardians stylistically play a very similar kind of game to what the Padres do.
Jesse, as always, good stuff. Appreciate the time. We'll talk to you and Tony coming up at 6:30 as the Padres try to start 5-0 for the first time ever. We'll see if they can do that here tonight. Thanks so much.
You got it, Sammy.
All right, that's Jesse Agler joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on the Padres Radio Network. First pitch coming up at 6:40 between the Padres and the Cleveland Guardians. When we come back, we hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Plus, a little bit later, we hear from tonight's starting pitcher Kyle Hart. Really a big night for Kyle Hart, making his return to the major leagues. His first start in the majors since 2020, and you might guess it because that start or those outings were in 2020. This will be Kyle Hart's first time pitching at a major league stadium with fans here, because those outings came in front of nobody. It was the COVID season 2020. So a big night for Kyle Hart. We'll hear more from him coming up a little bit later on as the Padres get ready to take on the Cleveland Guardians. Game 1 of this 3-game set coming up in just a little bit right here on the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:40 here in downtown San Diego. A lot of people already here inside the loft at the Western Metal Building, enjoying their food, enjoying their beverages. And I should mention, I didn't mention this in the opening segment, it is Jackson Merrill bobblehead night. Who's got a Jackson Merrill bobblehead? One right there. Everybody's got one in here. Everybody having a great time. Jackson Merrill bobblehead night, his first bobblehead as a San Diego Padre. So a big time giveaway tonight on this Monday. Everybody in a good mood, not just because of the bobblehead, but hey, the Padres are 4-0. And like we've alluded to, Padres looking to go 5-0 to begin a season for the very first time in franchise history. It has never been done. The Padres have an opportunity to do that here tonight. Before we continue on with our pregame coverage, let's quickly pause for station ID on the Padres Radio Network.
KWFN-FM and KWFN-HD1 San Diego.
This is Manny Machado from the San Diego Padres. The Padres, they here. 97.3 The Fan.
An Odyssey Sports Station.
Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. Great to have you with us on this Monday night. I see a kid in a Jackson Merrill jersey walking right in front of me with a bobblehead in hand. That's awesome. What it's all about. As we get ready for this one, let's hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
A lot to chew on today with Mike Shildt in the pregame inside the Padres dugout. Here was the early portion of Mike Shildt's pregame media availability.
Mike, just reflecting back on that last series, great tester for you, it seemed like. Played a good ball club. You guys did everything you needed to do. You did the big things, you did the little things. Your overall assessment of how that first series went for you guys?
Yeah, you kind of explained it. I mean, it was a hard-fought series, good pitching both sides. Our pitching was really, really good. Bullpen was outstanding. A lot of good at-bats, tough at-bats, good situational baseball on both sides of the field. The situation hitting was tremendous. The base running was outstanding as well. Everybody's on point. The defense was tremendous. A lot of double plays, just a lot of plus defensive plays. Good team baseball.
It seemed like the bench was a factor also. Can you talk a little bit about how effective it was being able to have, Sheets coming off, and Lockridge did a nice job off the bench, Maldonado as well, Gurriel also. It just seemed like everybody was clicking when called upon.
Yeah, it's it takes a team. We talk about this a lot. There's 26 on the roster for a reason, and outside of Kyle, who didn't get a chance and gets to pitch tonight, which I'm sure you'll be asked about, 25 guys were very instrumental in what we did, and the bench was a big part of that. Sheetsy, big homer, Gurriel, RBI single to give us a go-ahead run. The eighth, it held up. But, yeah, Maldonado was fantastic. Him and Diaz are splitting time back there, and Lockridge came off yesterday, big knock, stolen base, scored a run, opened it up.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt earlier today. Now, we'll play a little bit more of Mike Shildt's pregame comments here. Towards the end of this, you're going to hear two sort of non-typical questions. The first one being about the suspension of Jurickson Profar. And in case you're just getting in the car, in case you missed it, there was major news earlier today. Jurickson Profar, yes, who was just here this opening weekend with the Atlanta Braves, signed a contract with the Braves this past offseason after playing for the Padres in 2024. He was suspended by Major League Baseball for violating Major League Baseball's performance-enhancing drug policy. So a PED suspension for Jurickson Profar, 80 games. We'll get deeper into it a little bit later. Mike Shildt also asked about the torpedo bats, what everybody's talking about around baseball. So you're going to hear those two answers towards the end of this clip. But first, here was Mike Shildt talking about left-hander Kyle Hart making his long-awaited return to the major leagues here tonight against Cleveland.
Oh, I think he's excited about it. He's back in the big leagues, and he came back here to get the opportunity to pitch in the big leagues. So I can't speak for him, but I'm sure he's excited about it.
Just in general, have you seen any kind of a common thread with guys who've gone over there, come back here and had success? Do they change things? Is it just a chance for them to get more experience? Is it a confidence thing? Maybe a combination of all those?
I think it's a combination of all of those. I think it's an opportunity for guys that have either gotten a lot of minor league experience, a taste of the big league experience, chance to go over and see what and work on their craft and work on different things. It's a different story for everybody, but it was a chance for him to go over and work on different pitches, and clearly pitched very, very well, and here we are.
You say back in the big leagues, and it's not technically his debut, but he debuted in 2020. There were no fans in the stands during that season, so kind of how cool of a moment will it be for him to kind of, I know that it's not his debut, but to get to experience real big league baseball?
Yeah, you go and you make your fan debut in Petco Park. That's pretty special, right? So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of emotions and excitement for Kyle tonight.
Mike, Cleveland's a team that plays very fundamentally sound baseball, a lot of contact, a lot of small ball. We have a team that isn't going to make a lot of mistakes. Just what's sort of the game plan, the thought process going in?
Yeah, we're aware of our opponent. You mentioned what they do, and it's really about what we do and how consistently and effectively we do it. We do what we did this past, to Scan's point, in the last 4 games, regardless of opponent. We last night, Pavetta threw quality strikes. We made routine plays. Our offense executed on all the little small details. We played really good defense, and we shook hands. So it's really the matter of just playing good, solid, fundamental baseball.
The number of zeros your bullpen has thrown up so far. How impressive have they been, really?
Been outstanding. They've been great. The one thing I mentioned earlier first of all, it's becoming an experienced bullpen. It's nice to be able to go see Morihone grab the 9th. If you're going to have a club that's going to win consistently, you're going to have your guys that bring it home consistently, but they're not going to be able to pitch every day. And so for Morihone to go grab the 9th in a 1-run game was really important. You saw Estrada close it out yesterday. Yuki get big outs, Wandy get big outs. It's just continues to be a group effort. So Adam's been good. Obviously Suarez has been good. So it's a matter of going out there and pitching. And good news is Jacob's been good as well. These guys can get righties and lefties as well.
Mike, I realize that Jurickson is no longer with his Padres team, but news broke a short time ago that he's been suspended 80 games for PEDs. Very beloved in that clubhouse. I'm not sure how it's going over in there, but what is your reaction to this news?
I literally just found out before I got out here, and I love Jurickson Profar no more or no less right now than I loved him an hour ago. I still love him, and I don't know the circumstances behind it, but I know the person it is, bro, and I love the guy.
Are you surprised by it? Considering everything that you do know about it, are you surprised by it?
I don't know what you want me to say. Yeah, I'm surprised by it. I think, all I can tell you is I don't know the circumstances, so I'm not going to speak to it. All I can tell you is I love Profar, and I'll support him regardless.
I'm sure you heard about the torpedo bats this weekend. Have you had any experience with those things at all?
No, I haven't hit in a while. No, I have not. I'm not hitting a while. Swing the fungo occasionally, but they haven't made torpedo fungos yet. So I'll let you know if I get in the cage. But yeah, I don't know much about it.
Label you had to put it down?
Yeah, well, about 35 years ago.
Any of your players, any of them coming in here to experimenting with those at all?
I don't know. I'm sure. Look, in our game, guys are experimenting with everything. There's a lot of things out there, and I feel pretty good about what our guys choose to use for their bats at the moment.
Michael, when Gavin Sheets first came to Padres, what sort of opportunity did you present to him that he could have with this organization?
Yeah, we talked to Gavin quite a bit. He was a guy that rightfully had options as a free agent, and we spent kudos to the organization. We do our jobs. The organization did a nice job identifying Gavin, talking to Gavin. I did get into the process of, having some conversation with him and really just enjoyed him quite a bit. I really appreciated the conversation we had, and we're honest about what we had. And it's one thing that I think we'll always be, is we'll be sincere about what the opportunities are, what we have here in San Diego and the culture we have and how we can help them prepare and compete, and, then allow them to make informed decisions. And it's worked out well with Gavin.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt earlier today inside the Padres dugout. We'll hear more from Mike on our post-game coverage coming up a little bit later on this evening as the Padres begin this 3-game series against the Cleveland Guardians. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. Let's tell you who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to kick things up another notch? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not on the Padres Radio Network.
First, we take a look at the hot category. A handful of Padres certainly in there after a 4-0 start. Very good offensive start collectively. Fernando Tatis Jr., 7 for 15, a home run, 2 RBIs, 5 runs scored so far this season. Jackson Merrill, 6 for 13 to begin the year with 5 RBIs. Gavin Sheets, 4 for 11 with a home run. And meanwhile, for the Guardians, a couple of guys in that category. Stephen Kwan, 6 for 12 out of the leadoff spot with a home run. Kyle Manzardo, who is not in the lineup today for Cleveland, a good thing for the Padres because he's been great so far. 5 for 11 with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs, but you would imagine you might see Manzardo off the bench at some point tonight. In the not category, a couple of Padres not off to a great start. Jason Hayward, 0 for 10 to begin his season. Luis Ariz, 0 for 13 to begin his season. More on Ariz coming up a little bit later. Carlos Santana, cleanup man for the Guardians, just 2 for 12 to begin the year. And that's a quick look at who's hot, who's not, as we get ready for game 1 of this 3-game series. Now let's take you around the horn.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you around the horn. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotel's Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
Today on Around the Horn, we focus on the biggest story, non-Padres related story we have today. And look, it does relate to the Padres in this sense that he is a guy who has been so important to this team and to this organization, and that is Jurickson Profar, the Braves outfielder who, yes, was just here on opening weekend, played here yesterday. He has been suspended by Major League Baseball, an 80-game suspension. He has violated the performance-enhancing drug policy of Major League Baseball. Profar tested positive, I'm going to try to pronounce this correctly, for chorionic gonadotropin. Profar will be eligible to return to the Braves in late June, but he will be ineligible for the 2025 postseason as part of his suspension. So yes, Jurickson Profar suspended for PEDs by Major League Baseball, an 80-game suspension. Of course, he played for the Padres all of last year, had a wonderful season, the offensive season of his career, hit 280, 24 home runs, 85 RBIs, signed a 3-year, $42 million deal in January with Atlanta. Here was Jurickson's statement via the MLB Players Association. Quote, "This is especially painful for me because anyone who knows me and has seen me play knows I am deeply passionate about the game. There is nothing I love more than competing with my teammates and being a fan favorite. I want to apologize to the entire Braves organization, my teammates, and the fans. It is because of my deep love and respect for this game that I would never knowingly do anything to cheat it." So Jurickson Profar, 80-game suspension for PEDs. That is the big news of the day across Major League Baseball. Obviously a very, very big blow for the Atlanta Braves. And again, part of this, even if the Braves make the postseason and Profar comes back midsummer, Jurickson Profar is ineligible to participate in the postseason this year. So very unfortunate news for Jurickson Profar and the Braves. And that's a look at the main headline today from around Major League Baseball. When we return, we'll hear from Padres starting pitcher Kyle Hart. Plus, we have our keys to the game and much, much more to do as we walk you up towards first pitch coming up at 6:40 here at Petco Park on the Padres Radio Network. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. First pitch coming up at 6:40 between the Padres and the Cleveland Guardians. Sam Levitt with you here at Petco Park on what is a fairly chilly and foggy evening here in America's finest city. But again, Jackson Merrill bobblehead night. Everybody having a good time. Stadium filling in nicely. I am sure we are going to have somewhat close to a sellout, maybe even our fifth consecutive sellout to begin the season here tonight. Should be a lot of fun as the Padres look to start the season 5-0 for the first time in franchise history. Let's update you on the latest injuries for the Padres and the Guards.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
Couple of notes on the star third baseman, respectively, for each team. Jose Ramirez missed yesterday's game with a sprained right wrist, but he is back in the lineup here today. Ramirez playing third base and batting second for Cleveland. Manny Machado came out of Saturday's game with right calf tightness, but as we know, he was back in the lineup yesterday. Manny back in the lineup today, playing third base and batting third. And that is a quick look at the injury report. Little update on Jose Ramirez, little update on Manny Machado, and good news, both those guys back in their respective lineups for game one of this three-game series. Now let's take a look at tonight's keys to the game.
How will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game. Presented by El Centro Motors Ford. Meet your new Ford General Manager, Greg Ryan, now at El Centro Motors Ford, your new Ford truck, Bronco, and SUV HQ. Call Greg directly at 619-944-0774.
We take a look at our keys to tonight's game. Key number one, amazing arms. Padres pitching has been outstanding as of late. They've tossed 22 consecutive scoreless innings going back to Friday night. If the Padres were to somehow shut out the Guardians tonight, it would be the first time that Padres pitching has pitched 3 straight shutouts since the year 1988. The Padres pen has been unreal. 15 consecutive scoreless innings going back to opening day. So whether it's tonight's starter, Kyle Hart, or the Padres bullpen, if the Padres pitch like they have been lately, they'll have a darn good chance to win this ball game here tonight. We'll see if the Padres can keep the arms amazing in game 1 of this 3-game series. Key number 2, keep Kwan off the bases. I'm talking about Stephen Kwan, the Cleveland Guardians leadoff man. Kwan is 6 for 12 with 2 extra base hits and 4 runs scored in his first 3 games of the season. Kwan was hitting .390 deep into June last year, as Jesse Agler alluded to earlier. He's kind of like a somewhat version, not quite, but like a light version of Luis Arraez, Luis Arraez light. Stephen Kwan, really, really, really good hitter, and certainly is just a terrific hitter at the very top of the Cleveland Guardians lineup. But you got to keep him off base. That's key number 2. Key number 3, keep applying pressure. Padres have stolen 9 bases already this season through just 4 games. That's as many as they had through 14 games last season. Being aggressive, I understand that it can come with risk, but it's been working. So I say continue to be aggressive as long as it keeps on working. That's a key. And key number 4, 2-out hitting. The Padres scored 3 runs with 2 outs in yesterday's win. Of their 17 runs this season, 8 have been scored with 2 outs. So nearly half of the Padres' run production has come with 2 men away so far this year. So when you have 2 outs, when you have runners in scoring position, keep on finding ways to drive in runs. And that's a look at our keys to the game as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:40. Well, a big night for left-hander Kyle Hart, who will make his Padres debut and his first start in a Padres uniform. Padres debut, first start in a Padres uniform, same thing. What I meant to say, his first start in the major leagues since 2020 when he was a member of the Boston Red Sox organization. And Kyle Hart, remember, and we'll get deeper into him during our next segment, won the Cy Young Award equivalent in the Korean baseball organization last year. So it's been a while for Kyle Hart since the last time he appeared in the major leagues. He's been through a lot, was terrific in Korea last year, and now he gets a big-time opportunity after a solid spring training to contribute to the Padres here in 2025. I caught up with Kyle Hart yesterday inside the Padres clubhouse. Kyle, as you get ready for your Padres debut against the Cleveland Guardians, what are the emotions as you get ready for this start?
I feel confident. I think it's easier to feel confident when we've won the first 3 games and just seeing how much energy and focus that we've played with. So I'm comfortable with this group, both of these catchers. Kind of done all my homework. I'm just going to sit and watch Nick and enjoy him on Sunday Night Baseball and, get some rest, ready to go for tomorrow.
Speaking of homework, what does a preparation week look like for a start when you're getting ready for one?
Yeah, I think I thought that I was prepared and I thought that I did a lot of homework, and then coming in here and watching Yu Darvish, who's even currently like looking at the 2 series ahead, and he's not even pitching right now. So I thought I was prepared until I saw some of these guys and their level of preparation. So I'm going to have to turn it up a little bit on that front. I started looking at stuff on Friday, before my bullpen, just going into my bullpen, knowing what pitches that I needed to work on. And then I'll do a lot today, and then I won't do much. Just, you hammer it, and then you kind of go out and compete.
Kyle, during spring training, even just around here the last few days, it's pretty clear that this starting group has a lot of camaraderie. You could see it during the bullpens, the way you guys would watch each other, clearly support each other. How would you describe your relationship with the rest of the starting staff right now?
I think it's great. I'm learning a lot, and I'm just trying to just fit in, learn as much as I can. I think they're very open and communicative, when they need to be. So if I don't know what's going on or I'm not sure, I can ask any of them. It's an open door, open kind of conversation at any time, which has been great for me because I don't feel like I'm in the dark on anything. And that's the case with Ruben, Pete, Chris, Fritzy. Like I can go to them too. So I think our camaraderie is super strong right now. It's game 4. Like it's only going to get better. And that was something that Shildt emphasized. That was something that Darvish emphasized like day 1 of spring training. You want it to happen naturally, and I feel like it has, and it's going to continue to be that way.
Kyle, it's been a while since the last time you pitched in the major leagues. You go over to Korea, you have an excellent season there. What's the biggest difference between the Kyle Hart the last time you were in the majors and the Kyle Hart that we'll see against Cleveland?
Yeah, I think it is that preparation. I don't think I was prepared physically, mentally, any of that last time, and I think that's going to be the difference. I'm not going to fear the result. I'm going to go out, know that I'm prepared. I'm going to trust the guys behind me. I'm going to trust the guys in the dugout and just go from there. So, obviously we have an outstanding bullpen. That's going to be a staple of this team all year. So I'm going to trust those guys as well to have my back if I need to work around or manage the game or whatever. So extremely excited, but I feel like my mindset and preparation are much better.
Towards the start of spring training, you talked about using a different arm slot, in Korea, the way it worked for you, some variations to your pitch mix. Is all that still pretty consistent from where it was at the start of spring?
Yeah. I haven't changed a whole lot. They haven't really asked me to change a whole lot. And I think, honestly, we're still learning each other. I think, there'll be more information that suits kind of my game and my preparation as we go. I've had that conversation with Peter and Ruben. So I think they want to see the sample increase a little bit, and then we'll kind of tinker as we need to.
Only a handful of days in, but how do you like San Diego so far?
I love it. But my wife and daughter, we've been all over the place, parks. We've been to the zoo a couple times now. So they're going to know our names at the zoo pretty soon. But we love it.
Did you have a favorite exhibit at the zoo?
We waited in line for the pandas for a while. I think that's a staple. I mean, you have to. A lot of monkeys. Those are fun. I like the hippos. The hippos, yeah.
That was Kyle Hart, tonight's starting pitcher for the Padres. Yesterday inside the Padres clubhouse. We'll have more on Kyle Hart coming up in our next segment. Let's take a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
A number of finals around the major leagues already today. Reds beat the Rangers 14-3. Phillies beat the Rockies 6-1. Orioles beat the Red Sox in their home opener 8-5. White Sox blanked the Twins 9-0. Royals beat up on the Brewers 11-1. Games going on right now. Mets ahead of the Marlins 10-2 in the 9th. Rays 5, Pirates 1 in the 8th inning. Nationals trailing the Blue Jays 4-2 in the 8th inning in Toronto. Cardinals beating the Angels 3-2 in the 6th inning in St. Louis. Giants 2, Astros 0 in Houston in the 5th inning. Everything else coming up a little bit later on. Tigers in Seattle against the Mariners. Cubs in Sacramento against the A's. Braves in LA against the Dodgers. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. More on those games coming up during our post-game coverage. When we come back, we tell you what to watch for in today's game, plus a deeper look at our starting pitching matchup. First pitch coming up at 6:40 on the Padres Radio Network.
SDFatLoss.com.
Welcome back to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. EcoWater SoCal, improving your family's water one tap at a time. First pitch coming up at 6:40 here at Petco Park. Sam Levitt with you here inside the Western Metal Building. Let's tell you what to watch for tonight.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For, presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsSD.com.
What to watch for in game one of this three-game series. Can Luis Arraez get it going? I know we've talked about this the last few days, but Luis is 0 for 13 to begin his season. He went 0 for 13 to begin last season before going on to win his third consecutive batting title, even while dealing with a torn ligament in his thumb for most of the season. So really, for a lot of reasons, no reason to worry about Luis Arraez. But consider this tonight. Arraez is 5 for 9 with a walk in his career against Guardian starter Luis Ortiz. So tonight in particular against this starting pitcher, a good candidate for Luis to get that first hit of the season against. We'll see if Luis Arraez can do that here tonight against starter Luis Ortiz on the mound for Cleveland. Speaking of the starting pitching, let's take a deeper look at our starting pitching matchup.
Let's take a look at who's on the bump today with our starting pitching preview on the Padres Radio Network.
On the mound for the Padres, left-hander Kyle Hart, 32 years old, his first start of the season and his Padres debut. Tonight will be Kyle Hart's first appearance in the major league since 2020 when he debuted with the Red Sox. Those appearances did not go well. He allowed 19 earned runs in just 11 innings, including 3 starts. He walked 10 in those 11 innings. Hart spent a couple more seasons in the Red Sox organization, then signed with the Mariners system, the Phillies in 2023, and then he went to Korea last year. That was a game changer. He won the Korean version of the Cy Young Award while pitching in the KBO last season. He struck out 182 in 157 innings. And now Kyle Hart makes his return to MLB here tonight. Right-hander Luis Ortiz on the mound for the Guardians, 26 years old. He spent last season with the Pirates, went 7-6 with a 3.32 ERA in 135-plus innings. Not a big strikeout guy, struck out 107, walked 42 last year. He was acquired along from the Pirates. Along with prospects that exchanged for Spencer Horwitz back in December. The Guardians got Horwitz in a trade that sent Andres Jimenez from Cleveland to Toronto earlier that day. Makes his 4th career start against the Padres, his 2nd at Petco Park, a 5.74 ERA. In his 3 previous starts against the Padres, did give up a home run to Manny Machado last season. One matchup to watch tonight, Jason Hayward against Ortiz. Hayward 2 for 2 in his career against the right-hander. And that's a look at our starting pitching matchup tonight, Luis Ortiz against Kyle Hart. As always, thank you for listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Your water should be perfect. When we come back, Jesse Agler, Tony Gwynn Jr. have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you on our postgame show. You're listening to the Padres Radio Network. Enjoy the game, everybody.